Alpine-themed coaster is nearly a hypercoaster, as it stands a whopping 195 feet or 59 meters tall. But is bigger better? Find out in this review of Alpengeist. Busch Gardens Tampa developed a fruitful relationship with Balger and Mabillard shortly after the company was founded. They erected Kumba in 1993, which was revered for its smoothness, intensity, and capacity. So it's no surprise the Tampa Park added another coaster from the Swiss manufacturer in 1996. This time they'd add an Egyptian-themed invert named Montu. This ride was even more popular than Kumba. Therefore, SeaWorld and Busch Gardens would add 2 more inverts for the 1997 season. SeaWorld San Antonio would receive Great White, a Batman the Ride clone. Busch Gardens Williamsburg would receive Alpengeist, which would open as the world's tallest and fastest inverted coaster. Alpengeist is German for Ghost of the Alps, and the coaster was themed to a runaway ski lift. And I love this coaster's presentation. The coaster sports a white paint scheme, and as of my 2022 visit, the supports were in the midst of being painted in icy white. This color palette suits a ski-themed coaster perfectly. The station looks like a ski lodge, and there are comical touches scattered around the entire area from punny names to remnants of a crash. The second half features a few cool-looking snow-covered trenches, and the lift structure is very unique. Rather than using the traditional column supports, Alpengeist has a tower structure. This has a dual purpose. Not only does it look more reminiscent of a chairlift, but it was done also to prevent beams from disrupting the rest of the park's German section. Beyond the theming, this coaster just looks flat out imposing. The gargantuan lift hill goes without saying, but that Immelman and Cobra Roll both look ginormous from the midways. Alpengeist is usually a station wait most days. This ride has great capacity. I've always seen this coaster running 2 trains, each seating 32 riders across 8 rows. And the crew keeps those 2 trains moving at a steady rate. The coaster did operate with 3 trains earlier in its lifetime, but it sounds like stacking was quite common, negating the benefits of the 3rd train. If the coaster does have a line, you have 2 options. First, you can purchase Quick Queue Skip the Line. Second, and more economically, you can utilize the single rider line adjacent to the main entrance. Alpengeist is powerful in any row, but I have a slight preference for the front for the added sense of speed. You likely will have to wait an extra 4 to 5 trains, but you should do that at least once. Alpengeist is the familiar B&M over-the-shoulder restraints. They're mostly fine for me, but they are hard and rest right next to your ears, so they can cause a little head bang at one point in the layout that I'll touch on later. There were 2 notable changes with the trains from the other inverts. Most B&M inverts use row 1 as a zero car. Alpengeist features a heavy zero car weighing almost 1 ton in the front of row 1. This was added to increase the train's weight to help it complete the course. To help reduce noise, the coaster would run with polyurethane wheels as opposed to nylon wheels. B&M added the zero car as a contingency if the new wheels bled off too much speed to help the train maintain its speed throughout the course. Once dispatched, you immediately ascend the nearly 200-foot tall lift hill. At the top, you get a great view of the surrounding area, and then you head down my favorite drop on any B&M invert in America. This is a 170-foot or 52-meter tall plunge that twists 270 degrees in the descent. Those in back get good whip at the start of the drop. As the drop flares outwards, the speed rapidly increases. Then the final third offers strong positive Gs that continue into the pullout and start of the first inversion. That first inversion is a giant 120-foot or 37-meter tall Immelman. The sustained Gs from the end of the drop and start of this element often cause me to start graying out. It's one of the most forceful Immelmans out there. The flip itself isn't too strong, but it can give a little bit of float in the back. The subsequent valley delivers another dose of strong positives, and those forces are maintained through the giant vertical loop. It is impressive how forceful this loop is given its size. Alpengeist then roars through its best inversion, a wild Cobra Roll. I usually find Cobra Rolls overrated, but Alpengeist is incredible. Both inversions have violent snaps. The train is abruptly inverted at the apex. Then the ascent and descent also...
So good, the communication device? Yeah. Yeah.
Done with therapy. or anything. Alright guys, we're hitting the road. Again, I'm sitting in the back, because I usually watch videos on the laptop, and if it was in the front, there would be a lot more sunlight, so that's why I'm done with therapy. Or anything. Alright guys, we're hitting the road. Again, I'm sitting in the back, because I usually watch videos on the laptop, and if it was in the front, there would be a lot more sunlight, so that's why I sit in the back. He's stopping at the gas station first, because he needs to take money out, but I should probably get a snack for the road back house.